is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
Brewers here this afternoon. Maybe a little brunch with the Brewers. It is a morning start back in Milwaukee. High noon here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We're set for the Brewers and the Rays. Final game of this series, and the Brewers are in salvage mode. Trying to pick up the final game. They got a tough customer on the mound at David Price. He'll match up against Yovani Gallardo. And hi, everybody, we welcome you from the Trop. Great to have you with us today. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Telly Hughes, our reporter this afternoon. Final game of this series. The Brewers have dropped the first two. The offense has been non-existent. Brewers are headed to St. Louis after a day off tomorrow, so it doesn't get any easier. And a very good pitching matchup today. You got Yovani Gallardo, the Brewers' opening day starter, against one of the best left-handers in the game in David Price.
Yeah, and Yovani Gallardo, one of those guys in that starting rotation that has been very good last week and a half. The starting rotation outstanding, and he can put Yovani in there in his start against the Mets. Look at the numbers, only 4 hits, scattering 4 hits. He was only in trouble one time, 102 pitches to get him through 7 2/3 innings. Probably had his best curveball. Did not walk a batter, had 8 strikeouts. He's going to have to be on the top of his game here today because David Price is going. Yes, he is still a Tampa Bay Ray. You got to wonder what's going through his mind today. It could be his last start for the Rays. He has been dominating this year. You talk about a guy that's on the list of just about every one of these categories, leads all of baseball in strikeouts and innings pitched. So David Price is going to be on the mound today. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets through the game.
And look at his month of July. As he has gone, the Rays have gone, the hottest team in baseball. Tampa Bay and David Price sitting on a 5-0 record this month, an ERA of 1.36. He is racking up a ton of strikeouts, but he also leads the American League in home runs allowed. The Brewers could use a few today. Their offense has really struggled here in Tampa Bay. Telly Hughes will have that story. We'll hear from the manager when we continue on Brewers baseball.
is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can. It's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Look to stave off a series sweep against the surging Rays after Tampa Bay took the first two of this three-game set. Welcome back inside Tropicana Field. I'm Telly Hughes. Squaring up balls with very little results to show for it has been the story so far as the Brewers offense continues to sputter. The crew has only accounted for 2 runs and 6 hits this series, and over the last 3 games, they batted .135 as a team, striking out 30 times with an on-base percentage of .170. Those don't sound like the numbers that belongs to the team who has scored the second most runs in the National League, and that's why Ron Renicky believes that stat can be misleading.
The streakiness is what is hard, because we're getting some great pitching. You know, from our starters have been really throwing the ball well, and when you're not scoring, it's easy to say, well, your offense is fine, you're second in the league. Well, no, our offense isn't fine. You know, we were great for a month and a half, and we need to get back to a better offense.
Coming up, the crew will look to filter out a concentrated win at the Trop. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder are on deck with the first pitch and call for the series finale between the Brewers and Rays next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
St. Petersburg, Florida. Great to have you with us. We're just about ready for baseball today. David Price getting his warm-up tosses in. He'll match up against Gallardo and the Brew Crew. And then Milwaukee will have tomorrow off, starting a series against Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals Friday night. St. Louis lost last night. San Diego beat them in their home ballpark. And then the Giants hosted Pittsburgh. The Pirates won 3-1 over San Francisco. So Milwaukee is just a game ahead on the Pirates. But you see in the loss column, the Brewers, the Pirates, the Cardinals all tied up starting play today. Milwaukee has been able to maintain their spot in the top spot in the Central since early April, and Ron Renicky hopes to continue that here today. Desperately in need of a win, and going to have to do it against one of the game's best and one of the game's best winners right now. Price has won 6 consecutive ball games. Here's the lineup today. It's brought to you by Associated Bank. Gomez leads off. Jonathan Lucroy will bat second. Ryan Braun hitting third. Then you got Ramirez, Weeks, and Davis. And the bottom three is Reynolds, Maldonado, and Segura. So David Price on the mound, Rock, and I mentioned 6 in a row he's won. He's also won 7 of his last 8.
And having a very good month of July. His last start in July, perhaps his last start as a Tampa Bay Ray. The trading deadline is tomorrow. July numbers 5-0, 136 earned run average. He leads all of baseball in innings pitched and strikeouts. Price has already racked up 183 strikeouts and only 21 walks this year. He has been dominant this year.
Carlos Gomez will lead off back in center field this afternoon after he was the DH yesterday. He did a lot of that yesterday as well. Gomez struck out 3 times. Check that, 4 times in yesterday's game. Was 0 for 4. Gets an opening changeup from David Price. Well, Carlos has his skinny pants on today. Maybe that's going to help get the Brewers offense going. His typally his Sunday skinnies, he calls them, but he's breaking them out on a Wednesday.
Baby day game under the roof here. Looking good.
Quickly 0-2. Top strikeout pitcher in the American League. Also leads the league in innings pitched coming into play, and he punches out Gomez on 3 pitches. And the Rays pitching staff pick it up right where they left off yesterday. The Brewers have now struck out 25 times in this series. 14 Ks yesterday. The starter Alex Cobb had 12 Ks in 8 innings.
And it certainly doesn't get any easier with baseball's leading strikeout pitcher. You know, David Price has said he is throwing the baseball as well now as he has throughout his entire career. A couple of years ago, he won 20 games. This guy's been something else. Throws hard. He can get it up there at about 95 miles an hour. Curveball and a changeup. Threw some off-speed pitches to Gomez first 2 pitches.
Well, there was a lot of talk, a lot of conjecture that Price would not be on the mound today, and there was discussion among the Rays apparently as Jonathan Lucroy fouls it back. Discussion that the Rays would do to Price what the Red Sox did with John Lester today. They have moved Lester back, so he will not start for Boston today. They pushed him back. Many are expecting a trade there. Trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. But Price is on the mound today. The Rays are right back in the race, having won 22 of their last 27 games. As Lucroy into right field, and that's going to be caught by Kiermaier. A line drive out. There's been a few of those in this series for the Brewers, and not what a struggling offense needed.
Now, you'd like to get off to a good start, but it's going to be tough against this guy. Lucroy doing a nice job just trying to protect the plate with 2 strikes. And Kiermaier making a nice running catch there on the AstroTurf for out number 2. Very good defensive team, this Tampa Bay Rays ball club. Matter of fact, both teams have been very good defensively. No errors have been committed so far in this series.
Here's Ryan Braun with 2 outs. And his batting average has taken a tumble as well, hitting .291 to start play today. And yes, the Brewers offense is struggling. There's no question about that. But you also have to give a little credit to their mound opponents recently, starting with Jacob deGrom and the Mets on Sunday. Saw a terrific outing by Jake Odorizzi here, who's been one of the best in the American League over a month and a half. You had Alex Cobb, who has beaten the Cardinals and the Brewers in back-to-back starts, and now David Price today. 0-2 to Braun. And a shot over to Loney. He's got it. And David Price, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, and a 3-up, 3-down inning with a K. in the top of the first, and now the Rays coming up against Giovanni Gallardo. There is the mad scientist, Joe Madden. His 9th year as the Tampa Bay skipper, and a very successful franchise now under Madden's reign. His Associated Bank batting order has Desmond Jennings at the top, Ben Zobrist, the designated hitter today, Matt Joyce in left. Middle of the order is Longoria, Loney, and Forsythe. And then it's Escobar, Molina, and Kevin Kiermaier rounding it out. And that's the starting 9 that will face Giovanni Gallardo, who hopes to continue the trend that he began in his last start against the New York Mets.
Yeah, he was outstanding. 7 2/3, did not allow a walk, 8 strikeouts, scattered 4 hits, but got a no decision. Giovanni's had 4 consecutive no decisions. His last win coming at Arizona on June 19th, so Giovanni's due for a win.
That was the game the Brewers let get away late, that 3-run New York 9th inning. And a blown save for K-Rod. Gallardo certainly pitched good enough to win that ball game, and he knows he has his work cut out for him this afternoon, matching up against Price. Desmond Jennings starts it for Tampa Bay. And quickly 0-2 on the Rays leadoff hitter. Been 2 low-scoring games, even though the final yesterday was 5-1 Tampa Bay. Rays scored 4 of their 5 runs in the 8th inning. Will Smith took the loss yesterday, although Matt Garza pitched very well. The Brewers are getting great starts. I mean, this has been a sustained run now where Milwaukee is getting excellent starting pitching, and they're pitching deep into ball games, racking up the strikeouts, an earned run average under 2. But a 5-4 record over the last 9. Not much to show for these very good starts. And on one hand, you feel like you hate to waste them. On the other hand, they're keeping the Brewers in these low-scoring games when the offense is sputtering right now.
Yeah, including Matt Garza. You saw Matt Garza sitting in the dugout over there with Jimmy Nelson, outstanding yesterday.
Jennings a bouncing ball, and Segura boots it. Not a good start for Milwaukee today. 3 up, 3 down first. Had Ryan Braun kind of jogging down to first base. Now Segura commits an error, and the Brewers are going to need to flip the switch here quickly.
They're just trying to keep it softly in the glove and make the throw, but the first error committed by either team in this series. Well, needless to say, with David Price out on the mound, you can't fall behind too early because he's not giving up too much.
Segura has had an impressive series defensively. He's made some incredible plays. But an error that leads to a base runner to start it. Gallardo immediately into the stretch for the red-hot Ben Zobrist. Zobrist had 2 key RBIs yesterday. Hit a home run to tie the game in the 6th inning, and then had an RBI base hit in the 8th that put the Rays on top for good. The home run was as a lefty, and the game-winning RBI was as a right-handed batter.
Yeah, another guy that there's been a lot of reports, not so much lately, but thinking that the Tampa Bay Rays might trade, get some prospects, maybe get some help in this ball club. But now the Rays, after having the worst record in Major League Baseball not that long ago, they're 1 game under 500. So things have changed dramatically around here.
At one point, they were 18 games under 500. They have not been at 500 since they were 10-10 early in the season. And David Price won that 20th game to send them to a 10-10 record. They've got some very difficult decisions to make. Can they sustain this kind of play for the rest of the season? You got to figure there's a correction coming at some point. No team can play this kind of baseball for an extended period of time or for this long. You know, they basically started this hot streak in mid-June.
And they've won 11 out of 12. I mean, that's about as hot as it gets. And you're right. I mean, nobody can play, or no team can play that well for 2 months.
29 wins since June 11th. 29-12 is their record. And they have passed 12 teams in the American League standings. If you just look at the wild card standings in the AL. Right now in the American League East, the Baltimore Orioles are still the pace setter. Baltimore's up 2.5 games on Toronto. And then you got the Yankees, who won last night as well. And then there's Tampa Bay, 4th in their division, 7 games back. They began this series 4.5 back to the 2nd wild card spot. And they open play today, still 4.5 back, having won 10 of their last 11 games. That's what the East looks like right now. Joe Madden was saying that, and made a good point, that the Rays have a lot of games inside their division coming up. This is a key stretch for them. And then you've got a lot of games inside your division at the end of the season as well, as all divisions do. There's a base hit. Past Mark Reynolds. Brewers had a bit of a shift on there, and Zobrist beats it. And 2 on to start this game for Yovani Gallardo. 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
Now let's check out the Brewers defense, brought to you by Menards today. Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. You got Mark Reynolds at third base. Ramirez is the designated hitter today. Segura at short. He's committed an error already today. Ricky Weeks, the left-hander around the mound. He's at second. Lucroy at first, and Maldonado behind home plate. 7 start at first base for Jonathan.
Two on, nobody out. Matt Joyce at the plate. Joyce was the DH the first 2 games in this series. He's in left field today, and that ball's in the air to center field. Gomez going back with room. Both runners are going to tag, and the throw comes into second. So the first out for Gallardo. Gomez ensures the double play stays intact, but it's now 1st and 3rd with 1 out for Longoria. It's a very pitcher-friendly ballpark when you go gap to gap here at Tropicana Field in the high walls. Got a lot of deep fly ball outs. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the Brewers are going to have to get their offense going in a manner that their offense can travel. They're going to be playing in some pitcher-friendly ballparks coming up in the month of August. As Longoria bounces to short, got to hurry it over. Segura, the Weeks throw to first, and it is in time. A double play. Well turned double play. Ricky Weeks hanging in there tough, and Gallardo and the Brewers get out of the first.
Score between the Brewers and Rays. David Price back out on the mound, ready to work for the second time in this ball game. And Ron Renicky said before today's game that he had a feeling that he would face David Price, of course, with all the rumors surrounding if he would be a Ray or not by this time. And Ron Renicky said that he never doubted, especially since the run the Rays have been on as of late, that David Price would be a Ray for this start. And it's not something that the Brewers wanted to see, especially with a sputtering offense. But Ron Renicky said it's been a combination between not having good plate appearances as well as facing some good pitching. And that string will continue even after this series, B.A. and Rock, because Adam Wainwright will open the series in St. Louis on Friday.
Yes, he will. The Brewers know they are going to have a tough road trip. Knew that before they started as Aramis Ramirez singles and the first base hit off Price. Ramirez leads off this second inning.
And one of the most frustrating things sometimes when watching the Brewers offense is that you never know when these guys are going to snap out of it. I mean, you get a guy like David Price out there, everything's stacked against him, and you never know. I mean, this team has been known to face some pretty good pitching and come up big.
Yeah, they took down John Lester in Boston. And they have certainly held their own against some of the game's best pitchers.
Steven Strasburg.
That's right. We'll see. Good way to start the second. Ramirez is aboard. Ricky Weeks now. David Price was having a little fun with the fans on Twitter today. He tweeted out, "This is my last start for the Rays in July." And up and ready is what he said. So he was messing with the fans a little bit, and that's probably the best way to handle all the trade rumors circulating around David Price.
So you got to wonder what's going through his mind as he stands out there in the mound. Could be his last game with the ball club that he has had so much success with.
Well, and it doesn't mean just because the Rays are in a pennant race that they won't make a deal. I mean, Tampa Bay they're an out-of-the-box organization. They operate on a very small budget. They have to do things to help their ball club when they can. And, of course, they traded Matt Garza, one of their biggest trades that brought a good haul in return. And David Price will not be a free agent until after next season. So he's got 2 pennant races you could get him in. And there are a couple of teams, namely the Dodgers and the Cardinals, that have big league ready players that could maybe help this Tampa Bay ball club. But he is an ace, and that's a tough sell in that clubhouse if they do trade him.
Well, and again, I mean, after next year, you figure he's going to be one of the highest paid pitchers in baseball. Right. Can the Rays afford that? And right now you're going to get the most you can possibly get from David Price, knowing that whoever picks him up gets him for another year.
Well, Price with back-to-back balls here. He did not throw a pitch out of the strike zone until his 13th pitch. 13 straight strikes, or 12 straight strikes, and now 2 pitches out of the zone. It's 2-2 to Weeks.
Yeah, for the season, a 9-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for David Price. That's an unbelievable statistic.
Ramirez led off with a single. Weeks at the plate. The 2-2 is inside, ball 3. Narrow miss. Weeks lays off, so he was down 0-2, 4 straight balls, and Price walks Ricky Weeks, first and second with nobody out here in the second inning.
Man, this is where the Brewers need to cash in. You get opportunities like this against a pitcher like Price, you've got to be able to manufacture at least one. Doesn't give you many opportunities. A 3.08 earned run average for David Price, just out of the top 10 in the American League.
Well, Price is also leading the American League in home runs allowed, and the Powerball home run leaderboard has Mark Reynolds at the top for the Brewers with 18. Homered here on Monday. Chris Davis with 17 home runs. And it's Davis hitting in front of Reynolds again today. 2 on, nobody out in the second. There's a strike. Change up from Price. Davis comes in with a .251 average. 54 ribbies to go along with those 17 homers, and looking for his first hit of this series. He's had a couple of narrow misses at home runs. One on a foul ball, the other on a ball that went to the wall.
Yeah, you got to get him down the lines unless you really get all of them. Yeah, David Price has started a lot of these Brewer hitters with off-speed pitches. Change-ups, cutters, curveballs.
There's a fastball strike. So an inside corner he couldn't find against Ricky Weeks, he has found against Davis. 0-2 the count.
And that's ordinarily Chris Davis's wheelhouse right there. Surprised he didn't go after that pitch.
Well, like most of the Tampa Bay pitchers, with men on base, the pace slows down significantly. Price will take his time. 1-2. Chris Davis among National League leaders at extra base hits starting play today. He's 10th in the league in home runs, 7th in doubles, or extra base hits, I beg your pardon. Got a couple on with nobody out. Ramirez at second, Weeks at first. And the 1-2. Good swing. He fouls it back.
Well, Price getting a lot of the plate with his pitches so far in the early going. He's got the good velocity and pretty good changeup. The Brewers have seen in 3 consecutive starts pretty good changeups, or split fingers if you will. David Price throws a normal changeup. It's been a tough pitch for a long time for this Brewer organization, a changeup. It always is for an aggressive hitting ball club.
And a team that isn't exactly going up there with 2-strike approach. I mean, they're a big swinging team, and when they're hot, they're the best offense in baseball. Right now, they're not, and racking up a lot of strikeouts. It was 0-2. Now it's 2-2. And Price delivers. Davis takes a called strike 3. So Price able to find that inside corner, the second strikeout for Price. And 1 gone. The runners cannot advance.
Well, let's check out the Rays defense brought to you by Menards today. They've committed the fewest errors of any team in Major League Baseball. They've only committed 48. Pretty good up the middle. Escobar, a good glove man at shortstop. Jose Molina, although he's not as good as his brother Yadier, pretty good throwing arm behind home plate, and Desmond Jennings can run him down in center field.
Well, one of the few Brewers to have seen a lot of David Price is Mark Reynolds, and he bats with 2 on and 1 out. Reynolds' lifetime against Price is a .241 hitter. He has 3 home runs against David Price. .209 average overall this year for the Brew Crew with 18 homers. Reynolds has 7 hits, 3 of those home runs. Price has also struck him out 9 times in his career. Took something off. Reynolds out in front.
Disguises that changeup very well. Good arm action on it, coming out of the same arm slot, and just has that different grip and chokes off about 7 or 8 miles an hour.
Inning started with a single, then Weeks walked. Now 1 out, 2 on, and the 1-1 pitch is down and in. Price is on some kind of roll on the mound right now and has wins over contending teams. This winning streak of his goes back to June 25th, 6 straight victories. He's beaten the Pirates, the Yankees, the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox in this stretch.
Which means he's due for a bad one. Glass half full.
Yeah, game's not that easy, right?
On this side of the fence, right? I mean, at some point you got to have a bad outing. You know, the Rays able to come back and pick up a win against the Boston Red Sox for Price. He allowed 3 runs in 8 innings. It was a 4-run 7th inning for the Rays offensively that got the win for Price his last time out.
Hitters count for Reynolds. Brewers trying to do some damage here in this 2nd inning. And Reynolds out in front of a changeup. That's the thing about Price. He'll throw that off speed at any point. The changeup, the breaking ball. Has such great command of it.
And right down the middle. But when you know he's going to be throwing at about mid-90s, you've got to gear it up a little bit. And that's what makes the changeup so effective.
Price got off to a relatively slow start on the mound. He still made the All-Star team. His 4th All-Star selection. During the Rays' struggles, Price was pitching poorly at the time as well, as Reynolds takes ball 4. So 2 walks in this inning. And the free swinging Brewers becoming very patient here against David Price. The bases are loaded with just 1 out.
And there's been only 3 starts for Price where he's walked more than 2 in a game all season long, and in his last 3 starts combined 1 walk, so 2 already, both coming in this 2nd inning.
Well, and now the Brewers need a big hit with the bases loaded. Martin Maldonado getting his first start of the series. Will bat. Segura will follow. Brewers have Lucroy at first base today. Maldonado catching Gallardo. Playing in only his 35th game of the year. Most of his playing time has come as a starting catcher. He's not pinch hitting much this year. He played a lot when Aramis Ramirez was on the DL. And that one's back up the middle and a base hit. In to score is Ramirez. Here comes Weeks. He will score, and Martin Maldonado delivers with a 2 RBI single, and the Brewers strike first this afternoon.
Yeah, and David Price with a changeup, 88 miles an hour. Maldonado able to wait back long enough and punch it into center field. Not hit all that hard off the end of the bat, out of the strike zone, and because it wasn't hit all that hard, Ricky Weeks able to score from second base. There you go, bottom of the order, getting it done. The Brewers have been waiting for somebody to come up with a big hit, and right now it's Maldonado.
It's the guy who can't find his way in the lineup.
Right.
That's what they've been missing. That's a big one for the Brewers. Maybe that'll open up the floodgates. 2 in on a 2 RBI single. Maldonado now with 10 RBIs for the year. 2 on with 1 out, and Segura, big swing and a miss. And that one had a little hair on it. A little anger with that fastball at 95 miles an hour.
Well, that's what the Brewers want. They'd rather have that than changeup. For sure. A nice at bat by Maldonado. He got the count in his favor, 1-0. Yeah, protecting the plate with the bases loaded and just punching it into center field on an off-speed pitch. David Price probably thinking, what's he looking for? That was a pretty good changeup too, not even a strike. Well done.
Been 2 hits in the inning, 2 walks. The out was a strikeout to Chris Davis. Segura's up there with 2 men aboard. And Segura, little handle shot out to right field. Kiermaier for the out. And the second out in the inning. Brewers have scored more runs in this inning than they have scored in each of the last 3 games. Or at least as much. They scored 2 in the opener here Monday, lost 3-2. Shut out on Sunday at the hands of the Mets, and last night it was a 5-1 loss. Top of the order, Gomez, strikeout victim last inning. And a strike, a fastball in there. Gomez is just in one of those funks right now. He's swinging at balls and he's taking strikes.
Right.
That's the way it goes when you're slumping at the plate.
Some guys like to take pitches and get themselves out of bad stretches. Other guys like to swing their way out of a slump.
Another fastball, and it's 0-2 on Gomez.
Fastballs in, changeups away. Works pretty well when you can find that inside corner and not leave it out over the plate.
Reynolds at second. Maldonado at first. And Gomez slashes one foul. And I'm sure he'll take the contact at this point. Been a lot of swinging and missing. Trying to find that barrel once again.
A lot of times this year we've seen Gomez on 2 strikes shorten up a little bit. We haven't seen it much in this series. Now would be a real good time for it.
Carlos, an all-star starter this season. First time as a starter at the All-Star game. Back-to-back years he's been an all-star. And an all-star matchup here with Price and Gomez. We've seen that average drop to 297 to start play today. Gomez is 0 for 8 in this series. Had a nice homestand. Carlos had 9 hits and a home run on the homestand. But looking for his first hit in his last 14 at-bats.
Just pounding that strike zone, isn't he? After a couple of walks, even with the couple of walks, he's just challenging Carlos Gomez with fastballs like we really haven't seen too often this year.
Another 2-strike pitch. And Gomez is hanging tough. That's more like the swing you were talking about with 2 strikes. Gomez looks like he's shortening up a little bit, trying to drive the ball to right field. And when he's going well, and I think that's the case for most hitters, but you see a hitter that's locked in, they start to drive the ball to the opposite field.
Yeah, just waiting on the baseball, not jumping at it. That shows that you're confident, you're seeing the ball well.
Price had a 9-pitch first inning. This is the 30th pitch of the second inning. 2 runs are in. And Gomez fouls another one off. Price can't shake him. Well, this is the kind of inning the Brewers have been searching for. Not only do they have runs on the board, but they are sending that pitch count soaring for David Price. The 31st pitch of the inning. And Gomez pulls one to short. Escobar to second to end the frame. side retired, but the Brewers get a big hit from their backup catcher. Martin Maldonado delivers a 2 RBI single, and the Brewers are on the board first in St. Pete. Nothing on a Martin Maldonado 2 RBI single. And they have an early lead on David Price and the Tampa Bay Rays. Heading to the bottom of the second inning. Well, Giovanni Gallardo looked like he was in a little bit of trouble in that first, but the Southwest Airlines non-stoppable play, a big double play, 6-4-3 it goes. Longoria bounces into the twin killing to end the inning.
Great job by Ricky Weeks, hanging right in there and throwing a bullet over to first base. The Brewers needed that in a big way. Didn't want to fall behind and now have a 2-0 lead.
So Gallardo will face James Loney to start this second inning. I mean, it's amazing how the game can change. We sit up here, we do this every night, every day, but I'm always fascinated by the momentum swings of the game. You know, the Rays are sitting here, they're playing great. They're humming along as Loney bounces to Weeks, and there is out number 1. They've got 2 on, nobody out. They've got Longoria coming up with 1 out. They've got Price on the mound. It's all going well for them, and boom, a double play next inning. The backup catcher delivers with a 2 RBI single to give the Brewers the lead, and a desperate need of offense, and it comes from Maldonado early today.
That's the thing about this game. I mean, on paper, you think the Brewers have their backs against the wall, but you know, these guys have been very resilient. Just when you're ready to give up on them, they come up with a big win. They play well, and we'll see how they come out here today. But you know, this is a very confident group. I mean, you know, they haven't been swinging the bats all that well. Their pitching's been terrific. And this is a very resilient group, and that all starts with the manager and the coaching staff. They stay positive. They keep their nose to the grindstone. They continue to do what they have to do each and every day. They don't change it. They don't change the message. Ron Renicki's never one of those guys to panic and start flipping over the tables in the clubhouse after bad games. He's got to stay the course. That's what Joe Maddon does.
Well, had a nice interview. Telly did a great job connecting Renicki and Joe Maddon. That was an interesting discussion between the two. You can see more of that on Brewers Live postgame, but I thought Joe Maddon hit it on the head with Renicki as well. He said he's just a very honest, even-keeled person. As Forsythe rolls to Segura, nice easy hop, and 2 up and 2 down for Gallardo. But one thing Ron Renicki does, and I think the players respect the most out of him, he pulls no punches. He doesn't do it in the media. He doesn't call guys out in the public. He seems like kind of this calm guy, and he is for the most part, but he does have a lot of eye-to-eye face-to-face meetings with players, and he tells them exactly what they are, what they've been, what they need to be, and he's a straight shooter. And I think, you know, whether it's faking self-esteem or managing self-esteem, this is a game of such failure. You go around the clubhouse today, these guys are loose. They're talking about, yeah, we're in a slump. That means we're one game closer to getting on a hot streak. Right. I mean, that's for whatever that's worth.
It's like sales, right? That. It's like sales. Every no is one no closer to a yes. So
that's right.
Every time you go up there, every time you take them out, and one step closer to having success out there. And that's what this game's all about. How do you handle lack of success? What goes through your mind? What are you thinking about?
2 outs for Yunel Escobar.
These guys don't get to this level without being able to manage that.
Well, there's been a lot of spots along the way this year that you can look back to. This could be one of them here today, matching up against Price. We'll see how the game goes. But I think maybe one of the key moments of the season was the last day before the All-Star break, when the Brewers were threatening to be swept in an entire homestand against the Phillies and the Cardinals. And they had surrendered at the time, a 6.5 game lead in the division. It had a chance to be a tie at the top of the division going into the All-Star break, and they came out and put a whooping on the St. Louis Cardinals, the final game of that series, and headed into the All-Star break still in first place by themselves. And that was a big moment. This could be another one as Reynolds makes the play, and 3 ground ball outs for Giovanni Gallardo. 3 up and 3 down go the Rays. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Under the roof, Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida. And a lot of Brewers fans here this week. Rare visit to Tropicana Field. It's been since 2005 that the Brewers were here. Last played the Rays back in 2011. Lucroy will lead off 2-0 Milwaukee. Getting 2 runs in the second off Price. Pitch count over 30 in that second inning. And he starts Lucroy with strike 1. Lucroy lined out his first time up. Nice diving catch by Kevin Kiermaier. David Price allowing 2 hits and 2 walks in the second inning. As Rock mentioned, he had only walked 1 batter over his last 3 starts. He didn't walk a batter in his last 2 games. That was a win against the Twins on the road and a victory earlier on this homestand against Boston. Tampa Bay took 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox, essentially sending Boston into cellar mode, you would think. It feels like the Red Sox are close to making some trades. John Lester, maybe even John Lackey. We'll see.
It's been awfully quiet, though. I mean, as far as, guys that could perhaps get traded.
Lucroy turns one around, back up the middle, and a base hit for Jonathan Lucroy.
Brewers hanging in there on that off-speed pitch pretty well. That was a change-up or a cut fastball that Lucroy able to reach out and bang into center field. Hey, it's Cerveceros Day, Sunday, August 10th. Come see the Brewers square off against the Dodgers and get your free chorizo racing sausage bobble, courtesy of Clements Sausage. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
It's a little alarming that there's a Cerveceros Day before there's a Bill Schroeder Day, a chorizo day,
You mean a bobblehead?
I'm looking for the Bill Schroeder bobblehead.
Oh, yeah?
At some point. It is your 20th season in the booth.
You're going to be looking a while.
There's a shot. Escobar bobbles and a throw to second, not in time. So Escobar mishandles one. Braun hit that one sharply and should have been a double play. Instead, the Brewers have 2 on with nobody out, and both shortstops committing errors this afternoon.
Yeah, Ryan Braun just bad luck in this series. He hit into a double play yesterday, a bullet. And there's one that Escobar should have turned a double play, but the Brewers able to get the first couple of men on in this inning. It's always been focus issues for Yunel Escobar. Got a lot of ability, but sometimes he'll make a play like that, have you scratching your head.
And they're going to score that as a base hit, so not an error. That is a generous call. Braun will take it.
Yes,
Ramirez
sir.
at the plate takes strike 1. Goodness.
David Price probably looking up here saying, what, are you kidding me?
That feels like one that could be changed.
Well, it was a hard hit ball, a one hopper, one that certainly a big league shortstop's going to be able to make most of the time. Maybe that's why the Rays only have 48 errors this year.
That's a good point. Ramirez with 2 on. And a wave and a miss. Aramis had a single and a run scored last inning. He started the inning with a base hit.
48 errors, the fewest in all of baseball this year. Should have been one right there.
Ramirez into center field, and that's down a base hit. Coming in to score is Lucroy, and the Brewers up 3-0 as Aramis Ramirez is 2 for 2.
And both of them back into center field. That was a fastball at 95 miles an hour that Ramirez was able to get on top of. There it is, up in the strike zone, and Ramirez with a nice swing. So Ramirez starting to swing it better. Maybe going into St. Louis, you get these guys going a little bit, scoring some runs, keep the pitching going, turn this thing around a little bit.
3 straight hits to start the inning. All singles. Lucroy scores the 3rd run. Nobody out here with runners at first and second. And it's Ricky Weeks at the plate. Bit of a homecoming for Ricky Weeks. Went to high school about 2 hours from here. Lake Brantley High School, Altamont, Florida. He's got a lot of friends and family in the ballpark. I'll tell you, his high school produced some terrific baseball players. As Weeks takes a strike. Jason Varitek is from Ricky Weeks' high school. Felipe Lopez, a former Brewer. Johnny Venters, his brother Jamal, of course, Ricky's brother. Nick Franklin. And the Brewers drafted 2 players this year from Weeks' high school, Lake Bradley. Tate Blackman out of Ole Miss, a shortstop, and Carl Chester, a center fielder who played his college ball in Miami. Brewers have a ton of scouts.
Not too many high schools around the country can boast that. Not many big leaguers. Pretty impressive number of guys out of that high school.
2 players the Brewers drafted this year still in high school, going to those 2 colleges I mentioned, Ole Miss and Miami. Doug Melvin's son, Corey Melvin, is one of the many scouts the Brewers have covering Florida on a professional level. Saw Corey earlier on this homestand, or on this trip. It's a homestand for him.
Brewers have just about every one of their baseball ops people in town here in Tampa. I should say Tampa Bay, St. Pete. Right before the trading deadline, they want to have all hands on deck, decision makers, evaluators.
I was talking to Gord Ash before the game. I said, you know, because we haven't seen him except on the bus or at the ballpark, and I said, yeah, we're down there in the bomb shelter at in the basement level of the team hotel. No windows.
Where the Babe used to hang out.
That's right. And that's it's an old hotel here.
And a lot of history where the team is staying.
Swinging a foul. Weeks, another good battle here with David Price. Ricky drew a walk his last time up, one of the 2 walks last inning, after falling behind 0-2. Came back to draw that walk. Yeah, a lot of decisions to be made. We'll see how active the Brewers will be. And just because there's no deal done before tomorrow's non-waiver trade deadline doesn't mean a deal won't be done in August. As long as you acquire a player and have him on the roster by September 1st, he is postseason eligible. Has to be in your organization by September 1st. Weeks pops it up. Foul territory, long run, and Loney cannot make the play. That's a tough chance.
And had he caught it, Ryan Braun would have been able to tag up from second base and get the third. Well, that was a long run for Loney, and he had to deal with that home plate area in the bullpen. Never taking his eye off of it, and just coming up a little bit short. A lot of pitches already today for David Price. Brewers making him work. Doing a good job making contact.
He threw 9 consecutive strikes in the first inning and a 3-up 3-down inning. A 9-pitch first. It's been a different story since. Brewers already with 5 hits, 3 on the board, 2 on, nobody out, and Weeks takes a ball down and in. For whatever reason, Price can't find that inside corner on Ricky Weeks. That's where he missed consistently in his last plate appearance. Ricky does stand right on top of the plate.
They're missing too far on Weeks, and you're going to hit him. Leave it out over the plate, and he's going to get a good pitch to hit. Good pitchers that pitch inside will usually miss in off the plate, not over the plate. You can get hurt pretty badly. You leave one middle in.
See what he does. He's back in a 3-2 count. And the runners take off, and Weeks strikes out. Throw to third is in time. Well, the Brewers put the runners in motion, expecting contact, and Weeks strikes out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play.
And Molina can still catch and throw. He's not too mobile. But that throw right on the money, getting Braun easily at third base. And Ricky had a very good pitch to hit, one right down the middle, and he swung right through it.
That could be a big play. So now 2 men are out. Ramirez ends up at second base. Here's Chris Davis. Davis called out on strikes in the second inning. Big cut and a miss. And it's 0-2. Davis trying to break free here from a bit of a slump. He was 5 for 20 on the homestand. He did homer on the homestand. Hitless in this series, 0 for 6. Has a couple of walks. Price has him down 0-2. And down he goes. Davis strikes out. Back-to-back Ks. That inning turned quickly for David Price after 3 straight hits to start it. 3-0 Crew. RBIs from Maldonado and Aramis Ramirez. Say, set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports Wisconsin. You can join host Bill and Laura as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Watch Due North Outdoors this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Good day to be out on the water today. Nice and warm and humid.
A lot of water here in Tampa Bay. Not actually on the Atlantic Ocean here in St. Pete. Tampa Bay.
It's the bay, the other side.
It's the Bay, yeah.
Now Gallardo, 2 scoreless. 3 up, 3 down, second inning. And Jose Molina leading off for the Rays. By the way, they did change that scoring on Ryan Braun's batted ball. That has been changed to an error. So take the hit off the board. And that'll be an error on Escobar. Makes the run unearned. So 3 runs, 2 earned against Price. He didn't figure that was going to stay long as a base hit. Jose Molina, second start of the series. Rays were hopeful to get Ryan Hannigan back by the weekend series they have with the Angels, but that is not going to be the case. A shot. What a pickup by Segura. The Matador makes the play. Man, that was something.
Man, very similar to the baseball that Escobar wasn't able to handle. Segura able to do it. That was so unusual about that error that he made in the first inning. I mean, he's about as reliable as it gets. On plays like that, nice soft hands, able to grab it on the backhand. That ball was actually by him and made it look easy.
Perfect throw for out number 1. Gallardo getting a lot of ground ball outs. Kevin Kiermaier. This guy's brought a lot to the Tampa Bay Rays. Playing right field, filling in for the injured Will Myers. Kiermaier's hitting .308. Has 8 homers, 25 driven in.
He's got some speed. He can hit.
Center fielder by trade, they feel. Desmond Jennings roams center field right now. Kiermaier has a strong throwing arm as well. He's fast. And he's given this Rays ball club a lot of life. Matter of fact, those who follow this club regularly say the addition of Kiermaier to the roster is one of the aspects that gave him a little spark when they started winning all these games.
Yeah, he'll steal a base for you too. Good arm in the outfield. Already seen him make a nice play today.
2-1. A strike on the outside corner.
Hey, Yvonne's had real good location his last couple of times out. Outstanding curveball against the Mets. 7 2/3 scoreless. Haven't seen too many of those curveballs yet today. There's one.
And did he go? No, he didn't. Checks his swing according to Bill Welke.
That's the one that he throws a little bit harder than the get me over curveball early in the count. That's the strikeout curveball. And Yvonne's got to have confidence in to be able to throw that pitch in the dirt. And Maldonado very adept at keeping pitches in front of him.
Full count to Kiermaier with 1 out, and he lays off. Gallardo loses him. First walk issued by Giovanni Gallardo at a base runner from the 9-hole hitter. Send us back to the top of the order now.
Yeah, the home tavern in Freedom is today's Tavern of the Game winner. They call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
Base runner with Jennings at the plate. And there goes Kiermaier. Maldonado from his knees, and the throw is late. Kiermaier got a great jump, steals second base, and the Rays with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, one of the few guys that will run for the Rays. Jennings has most of the stolen bases. Jennings has 13. Kiermaier with his 4th. Yeah, head down, not looking in, and Maldonado from the knees. One hops one down to second base.
Jennings a little bit late. That's the cut fastball of Gallardo. 0-2 the count on Jennings. Jennings hitting at just .241. The Rays are hopeful he can get it together at the plate at the top spot in their batting order. Had some big hits last year for him in the playoffs, specifically the wild card and the tiebreaker game against Texas.
Yeah, he's a leadoff hitter because Joe Madden really doesn't have anybody else. On base percentage for Kiermaier, or I should say Jennings, at .328 coming into play today, and you'd like it to be a little bit higher than that for your leadoff man. Like to be in around the .350 range, but Joe Madden really has limited choices for a leadoff hitter.
Jennings reached on an error in the first inning. Waves at that Gallardo curveball, fouls it away. Count stays at no balls and 2 strikes. Brewers scored 2 in the second, added 1 in the third. Had the chance at a big inning against Price last inning, or the top of this inning. But a strike him out, throw him out double play changed the inning. Price came back and punched out Davis as well. David Price has 4 Ks through the first 3 innings. 0-2 again. Bouncer to short. Segura will go to first. And there is out number 2. Kiermaier was off at the crack of the bat.
I think if there was nobody out, I think you might have seen Segura try to get him. I think he might have been able to get him at third base, but you got to wonder about some of these guys and their base running. I mean, Cardinal rule right there. You don't want to go to third base on the ball hit in front of you. And check out Kiermaier. I mean, right in front of him. I think if Segura had a choice, he might have been able to go to third base, but to throw to first gives him 2 outs, and an out will end the inning.
Takes the shore out. Runner at third with 2 away for Ben Zobrist, who singled his last time up. Slapped one just past Mark Reynolds over at third base. Opposite field base hit. Hit his 9th home run of the year last night, and it tied the game in the 6th. Only run Matt Garza allowed. Garza went 7 innings last night. 5 hits and 1 run. ERA dropped to 3.74, but a no decision for Garza.
Yeah, Brewers have wasted some pretty good starts. Last week and a half, starting rotation has been dynamite.
This Rays starting rotation in their last 11 starts, they've won 9 of them. The starting pitchers have 9 wins, and they have an ERA at 1.74. So while the Brewers have been great, the Rays starting rotation has been out of this world right now. That's why they're able to win so many games in a row.
Yeah, so you wonder why the Brewers offense has been scuffing a little bit down here in Florida. It has a lot to do with the pitching that they're facing.
Tampa Bay has won 5 consecutive series. They swept the Cardinals last week on the road in St. Louis. Came home and took 2 out of 3 from Boston. How about those numbers? 1.57 ERA from Madden's pitching staff since July 21st. The Brewers are 4th and the best in the National League in that stretch. There's a strike. 3-2 the count on Zobrist.
Yeah, good 2-seamer right on the outside corner. Zobrist looking for something to pull. Yeah, good starting pitching the Brewers have been facing, and unfamiliar good starting pitching. Guys they haven't seen before. Makes it even more difficult.
Payoff pitch. Zobrist takes a called strike 3. Gallardo hits the spot. Zobrist is down. First strikeout of the day for Yovani Gallardo.
3-0. Time to check in with the crew in the community. On Saturday, August 9th, fans will have the opportunity to donate $40 in exchange for a mystery bag, which will contain an autographed baseball by a Brewers player on the active 25-man roster, Brewers manager Ron Renicky, or Hall of Famer Mr. Baseball Bob Uecker. Brewers wives will be stationed at tables throughout the ballpark, seeing the mystery bags until they are sold. Proceeds will support the Next Door Foundation.
Mark Reynolds will lead off for the Brew Crew. They lead 3-0 as we head to the 4th inning. Reynolds had a key walk his last time up, set up Maldonado's 2 RBI single. And Price falling behind him 2-0. Now Price, you have to think that second inning is going to have some residual damage. 31 pitches in that inning. The Brewers did score twice. He labored through the early part of last inning, but that strike him out double play, strike him out, throw him out double play turned the inning. And swinging away 3-0. Reynolds down the line fair. Bangs off the sidewalk. Kiermaier's got it, and Mark Reynolds with a leadoff double. Green light, 3-0. Reynolds jumping on David Price.
Yeah, 3-0 and slicing one inside the right field line. Something you don't see very often from a right-handed batter. And normally you're looking for getting something to pull, but Price gives him a fastball up and away, and Mark goes right with it, tucks it inside that right field line for a leadoff double. Well, the Brewers swinging the bats pretty well against David Price. And a good start to another inning. 3 consecutive innings. The Brewers have been able to get base hits to start the inning.
And it'll be Maldonado. Maldonado had the big hit for the Brewers in the second. A struggling offense needing someone to come through. AT&T U-verse rewind. Maldonado.
That was a good pitch, too. That was a change up, down and away. Maldonado goes down and gets it. And Brewers have been looking for that since they've gotten to Florida. A big hit with a man in scoring position.
And a little bit late on the fastball. Maldonado's been able to find his way in the lineup. Second time in the last 5 days. I mentioned when Ramirez was on the DL with the hamstring injury, that actually helped Maldonado get into the lineup a little more often, because Renicky would have Lucroy play first. There's a bunt attempt, popped up and out at third base in foul grounds. Maldonado, who is a good bunter and bunts quite often, misfires on that one.
Yeah, just trying to advance the base runner over to third base and got underneath. Last time Maldonado made a start, it was for Gallardo against the Mets. Yeah, Giovanni pitched well, so Maldonado gets the start. You keep Lucroy's bat in the lineup. You throw him at first base.
Here's Segura with one away. Reynolds a leadoff double on a 3-0 pitch. And Segura takes a strike. Segura does have an error in this game, but he has been impressive defensively.
And the glove and the throwing arm.
And he's so good defensively as it is, it's hard to even be impressed by him when you see him every day like we do. He's made some fantastic plays in this series. And if you've been following some of the nightly highlight shows, I'm sure you've seen a few of them. Began the year with some shoulder problems. And the way he's throwing the ball now, there's nothing wrong with that shoulder anymore.
We're a little bit concerned about that shoulder coming out of spring training. He didn't play for the last week of spring training, and Brewers weren't sure he was going to end up on a disabled list or not. He did not, and he has shown no signs of any problems with his throwing arm.
Strike called. Segura is rung up. Strikeout number 5 for David Price. And 2 gone in the inning after the leadoff double.
Yeah, coming inside, he's been able to catch that inside corner more times than not. And a little bit too close to take. John Campaign has been ringing him up. And 3 of the 5 strikeouts for David Price have been called strikes. All on the inside corner.
Top of the order for Gomez. Brewers got 2 in the second, added 1 last inning. Looking for another one here in the 4th. Reynolds with a big lead at second base. And Gomez pops it up. Right center. Kiermaier is there, and that will retire the side. Brewers up 3-0. Rays coming up, bottom of the 4th. Always a fan attraction here. They're going to have their largest crowd of this series with the Brewers on hand this afternoon. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: which 2 active MLB managers have more tenured seasons than Rays manager Joe Maddon? That's a good one. Maddon in his 9th year took over for Lou Piniella and began his run here in Tampa Bay in 2006. Came from the Angels coaching staff. He was Mike Scioscia's bench coach. Matter of fact, when Joe Maddon left that post to manage the Rays, Ron Renneke went from the Angels third base coach to bench coach for Mike Scioscia beginning in 06, where he remained until 2010 and then took over for the Brewers in 2011.
I think I know the answer to that question. I think they're both in the American League.
Well, one of them is the guy,
right, Mike Scioscia,
from which he came, right? The Angels. Scioscia been there a long time. Matt Joyce leads off for Tampa Bay. Gallardo has given up just 1 walk and 1 hit. Another runner has reached on an error. 3 base runners allowed today. Gallardo with 1 strikeout. And a swing and a miss. Joyce down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, cutter that time for Yo. He's throwing all of his pitches for strikes, just like he did his last time out. Makes it a little bit easier to call a game for a pitcher when he's got it working like that. You're not just trying to hunt for strikes. Makes it very difficult to set up hitters when you're only throwing one pitch for strikes, but Yo's got them all working so far.
Coming off a great start against the Mets. It actually looked like Gallardo was going to get through 8 shutout innings against the Mets. Remember, there was a replay challenge on a ground ball that went against the Brewers. Kind of a delay there. Renicky went ahead and made the change.
It would have ended the inning.
Gallardo went 7 2/3. Will Smith came in, got the final out. Kept the line clean for Gallardo, and then K-Rod giving up the 3 runs to the Mets in the top of the 9th inning. So Gallardo had a chance to win, but because of that blown save and that comeback by the Mets, Giovanni has not won since mid-June. It's been a long time. Slow roller coming in is Lucroy, and the Brewer catcher makes a nice play, getting a chance over at first base today. Joyce retired. Gallardo continues to rack up the ground ball outs in this game.
He's only had 1 fly ball out, and that was to Joyce back in the first inning.
7 ground ball outs, and the error was on a ground ball. Error on Segura. Longoria bounced into a double play in the first. The biggest ground ball of the day for Giovanni Gallardo. That inning was looking like a mess for Giovanni. 2 on. That's how his game started. An error, a base hit. After the Rays had scored 4 runs in their final at-bat yesterday, crowd was hopping, expecting good things, and then Longoria bounced into that 6-4-3 double play.
Got the thunder sticks out today at the ballpark.
So.
You notice that? A lot of kids at the ballpark today.
Little summer camp special here at Tropicana Field.
I'd like to meet the guy that invented those things.
I think those began in Japan, Japanese baseball, and that's the proper way to use them right there, just to pick on your friends.
Just beat people up with them.
You don't. I mean, some people clap them together, but if you can really hit somebody else with them the whole game, that's really a lot more fun. Longoria skies one to center field. And there is Gomez to make the play for the out. 2 up and 2 down.
It's all fun until somebody gets hurt.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Hey, all fans at Miller Park on Friday, August 8th, as the Brewers kick off their series against the Dodgers, we'll get a free vintage Brewers t-shirt featuring the Barrelman logo. That's courtesy of Orbis Corporation. Call 902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
James Loney. Bounced out in the second inning. 2 up, 2 down for Gallardo, and Loney in the air, foul. Loney had the big hit on Monday night. The only run producing hit of the night. It was a jam shot flare into right center. 2 RBI single with the bases loaded. Brewers went from up 1-0 behind Kyle Loesch to trailing 2-1. Fly ball left field. And Davis has it. Gallardo rolling along here. Another 3 up, 3 down, 4th. And we head to the 5th. 3-0 Brew Crew. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. Beautiful beaches here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Final game of the series. The Brewers are up 3-0 on David Price and the Tampa Bay Rays. Head to the 5th inning. Gallardo's given up just one hit. That was a Ben Zobrist single in the 1st inning. Lucroy, one of the 5 Brewers hits, will lead off for Milwaukee. You got Lucroy, Braun, and Ramirez coming up. A lot of pitches on the board for David Price, even with a 9-pitch 1st inning. This will be his 70th coming up as we play in the 5th. Brewers trying to snap this winning streak of David Price. He's won 6 consecutive games. Price does have 5 strikeouts. 3 runs on the board, 2 of them are earned. There was an error in the 3rd that led to the Lucroy run scoring.
You just hope that 4th inning for the Brewers doesn't come back to haunt him. Leadoff double, didn't move him. And the Brewers not able to plate Reynolds after he got his leadoff double. When you're facing pitching like the Brewers have, particularly David Price, got to take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Brewers have already had 10 at-bats with men in scoring position in this game. First 4 innings.
Just had a couple last night. Actually, just 1 at-bat with a runner in scoring position last night. Maybe signs that the Brewers are coming out of their slumber offensively as Lucroy wraps one into center field. That's going to stay in the park for Jennings. Lucroy is out.
Anything gap to gap, really, you don't get too excited about. Anything in the air, no matter how hard it seems to be hit, doesn't go anywhere in this ballpark. So much different than at Miller Park.
Number 8.
Here's Ryan Braun with 1 away. Getting reports from our colleague Ken Rosenthal from FoxSports.com that John Lester to the Pittsburgh Pirates is imminent, in his words.
That's not good.
Pirates leapfrog the Cardinals for 2nd place in the division with a win last night. They've been playing good baseball since the All-Star break. And they beat San Francisco last night. Josh Harrison hit a home run off Tim Hudson last night.
What a season he's having.
Unbelievable. An all-star this year.
Yeah.
The game-changing trade targets. Price, Lester, Cole Hamels. Good story today at USA Today. Bob Nightingale going through each organization and where they are with these centerpiece pitchers. As Braun goes to right, Kiermaier coming in, makes the play again. Very similar to the catch he made on Lucroy in the 1st. And Ryan Braun is out.
Can't buy a hit in this series. He's hit the ball in the nose a number of times, but nothing to show for it.
Number 16.
Braun's hit the ball on the nose at least 4 times in this series.
Still no hits. Aramis Ramirez will bat 2 for 2 today with an RBI at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Ramirez drove in a run with a single in the 3rd. That's another inning that got away from the Brewers. They did score, but they had a run in and 2 on with nobody out, and they could not score another run in that inning off Price. When your offense is sputtering like the Brewers' offense has been, you'll take the 3 runs.
No doubt.
Don't
I'm
get
just getting ready to say, against a guy like Price, the way he's been throwing, 3 runs in 4 innings, pretty good.
The Brewers with 3 runs on 5 hits today. Combined in their last 3 games leading up to today, 9 hits and only 2 runs scored in those 3 games. 30 strikeouts in the 3 games coming into today's play. Shutout Sunday. Lost 2-1 Monday. Lost 5-1 last night. So this is a welcome sight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Ramirez fouls it back. Cowbells and thundersticks filling up Tropicana Field.
Need more cowbell. Kids love them. Making thunderstick animals out there.
got a thunderstick hat on. Oh, to be a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, Ramirez just got a piece. Well, you know, Ramirez is glad to have 2 hits on the board today. I was talking to Ron Renicky before the game. He said he actually had a visit from Ramirez. Ramos came to his office, just wanted to, I don't know, get a little Dr. Phil time with Ron Renicky. Well, whatever he said, it worked. There's a strike call. Price hits the edge. And a strikeout to end the inning. Number 6 for Price. A 3 up, 3 down, 5th. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. A reminder, it's time now to tweet your photo using hashtag WisFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. That's the good way to use Twitter. The bad way to use Twitter is to do what somebody is doing with Ken Rosenthal. And I owe an apology to our audience. I got a text from Ken Rosenthal. He said the tweet that went out, that a trade of John Lester to the Pirates is imminent, is a fake Ken Rosenthal account. That's not his Twitter account. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Apologize for that. Another reason to love Twitter. A retraction. So thanks, Ken, for sending us the note. Well, that's why you trust Ken Rosenthal, because he's right on top of it.
Yeah, well, did he scold you a little bit?
No, he just said make sure you make a correction. That wasn't, don't pin that on me, man.
He heard you?
Yeah. He just sent me a text to say that wasn't him. So.
Wow.
Appreciate that, Ken. He's an excellent reporter and writer, and he is hawking all of the potential trades that could be going down. You can follow him on Twitter. Just make sure it's the verified account, and you can follow him at foxsports.com.
Why don't you text him to see if there's anything going on with the Brew Crew? Of course, he's listening. You don't have to now.
Dear Ken, anything shaking with the Brew Crew you could pass along? How's that?
Perfect.
Meanwhile, Giovanni Gallardo strikes out Forsythe. Well, he's pitching a dandy. Just a one-hitter thus far. That was a single in the first inning. And that is strikeout number 2 for Giovanni Gallardo.
Yeah, look at the location right here. Right on the outside corner, down in the strike zone. Forsythe, a very defensive swing. Number 2 for Giovanni.
That'll bring up Yunel Escobar now. Have you tweeted out any false information here today?
I have not, nope.
Saw your July Twitter numbers are down.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start really doing it in earnest in August.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. You're gonna turn over a new leaf, are you?
I said that in June too about July, but I do have some news on fantasy camp. Darryl Hamilton is going to be attending, since that's what my Twitter account is.
All right.
At Brewers Fan Camp. So Hambone, Darryl Hamilton will be a fantasy camp coach.
He's doing Brewers radio right now, filling in for Bob Uecker. Well, that's great news. Your camp just got better with Darryl Hamilton and his colorful assortment of socks.
Yeah, he and I were teammates his early days with the Brewers, my twilight years in Major League Baseball.
Does Darryl have to wear an MLB Network credential when he's working for Brewers radio, or is that just kind of a style thing, like letting everybody know he's on the network?
I think that's it.
He does a great job for MLB Network.
Right.
I'm sure they're happy about that.
You know, the lanyard says a lot about a guy.
I think it does.
You know, for instance, you don't have one.
Well, I was going to say Bob Uecker doesn't have a credential.
Right. Well, you wear a credential, but you clip it on your belt.
Yeah, and then I don't wear it on the air.
Right.
Like, you know who I am, and if you wanted to have me removed from the booth, you would do that regardless of a credential. There's a strike on the outside corner. Escobar has not been pleased with the umpiring in this series. Matter of fact, he got thrown out mid at bat yesterday after complaining in Spanish to home plate umpire Bill Welke,
who speaks fluent Spanish. So he knew exactly what he was saying to him. You got to be careful with that, you know.
There's a called strike 3, and Escobar goes down. Gallardo hits the bottom of the zone. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gallardo. Has 3 now, and 2 gone in the 5th.
Yep, coming right back. Down 3-1, right at the bottom of the strike zone. I don't think John Tumpain's going to go any lower than that. And he gets the call, back-to-back punch-outs.
So 2 up, 2 down. Here's Jose Molina. Bounced out to short his first time up. Swung at the first pitch. Swings at the first pitch here, deep into right center field. Braun got a long way to go, and will run it down as Gomez hits the deck in his skinny pants. 3 up, 3 down. Gallardo's rolling. 3-0 Crew. so far for the Brew Crew. They lead 3-0 over the Tampa Bay Rays. David Price giving up those 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Our Carsoup.com trivia, the 2 active managers with more tenure than Joe Madden. And the man he worked for and with, Mike Scioscia, is one, the longest tenured manager in baseball with the Angels, 15 years. And Ron Gardenhire of the Twins, 13 seasons as the Minnesota skipper. Scioscia and the Angels are coming here for a series beginning Friday. This is a run for the Rays where they face the Brewers, the Angels, and the A's. A key stretch for them, and they've won the first 2 games in the stretch against Milwaukee. Brewers trying to add on here as we go to the 6th. Gallardo is pitching another gem. He's got a 1-hit shutout going through the first 5 innings. And has now retired 8 straight. Price's pitch count is up there a little bit after a 31 pitch second inning, giving up the 2 runs. Maldonado had the big hit in that second, a 2 RBI single. Price has 6 strikeouts. Weeks was one of them. That was a strike him out, throw him out double play. Braun trying to steal third. Molina gunned him down. 1-1 to Weeks, and that one's in the air, right center field. Jennings got a great jump and makes a play for the out. He's an excellent center fielder. Takes care of Ricky Weeks, and Price is suddenly locked in here himself. 7 in a row retired by the big lefty.
And that's starting to mix in that curveball. That last pitch, 81 miles an hour. Ricky out in front, but able to hit it relatively hard into center field. So Price has the fastball. He's got the changeup, the cutter, and now the curveball starting to mix that in.
Here's Chris Davis. Davis has struck out twice. Price got him looking in the second, swinging in the third. And had men on base on both occasions. Strike 2, 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's working the same way all 3 times up. Change up, fastball. At least the last 2 times up.
Molina sets up inside. And the 0-2 is just inside. He missed it. That's the pitch that struck him out in the second inning. Had more of the plate. Davis didn't bite. Not sure as much he could do with it anyway. Price has great command. Doesn't just show up in the lack of walks, but where he wants to place pitches. And Davis turns on that one down the left field line. That is fair, and it bounces out. A ground rule double. Price went to the well one too many times, and Davis turned it around for an extra base hit.
Another pitch on the inside part of the plate. I think it was a cutter that Chris was able to pull the hands in and put the barrel of the bat on. There it is. Yep, a cutter, and a little bit down in the strike zone. Davis drops the hands on it and just tucks it inside that left field line. Nice piece of hitting by Chris Davis.
A 2-strike double by Davis. He's there with 1 out, and here comes Mark Reynolds. Double number 26 of the year. Davis is in the top 5 in the league in extra base hits. Got those 26 doubles to go along with 17 homers. Reynolds doubled his last time up, and that was on a 3-0 pitch. He's been on twice, a walk and a double. Reynolds with 2 hits in the series. Homered here on Monday. Pulled that one into the bleachers and left. Only run of the game for the Brewers on Monday. That was off Jake Odorizzi.
And one of those stretches right now is Reynolds that he's seeing the baseball pretty well, getting some good swings. Long stretch between home runs there for a while, but he's on a hot streak.
The Brewers have had a lot of success this year against left-handed starters. Milwaukee is 17-10 against left-handed starters. And among those victories, pitchers like John Lester, Cliff Lee, Francisco Liriano, some of the game's best left-handers the Brewers have beaten. They'd love to add David Price to the list here today. Davis at second. Reynolds in a hole, 1-2. And Price just misses with a fastball.
He doesn't miss by much on that corner, does he? Tough pitches to take on the inside corner. Very rarely misses out over the plate, although he did to Chris Davis. And Davis hammered one down the line.
Reynolds is evened at a 2-2. Rays outfield is deep with Reynolds at the plate. And a bouncer foul. As a matter of fact, when you start to think about how unorthodox this offense is and can come and go and get in a hot streak or not, some of the pitchers they've beaten this year, they have logged wins against some of the game's best starting pitchers right now. They've beaten Francisco Liriano, as I mentioned, in the division. They beat Tyson Ross earlier this year, who took down the Cardinals yesterday and was an all-star. They've beaten Samardzija twice, Steven Strasburg twice. Got a win against Matt Latos on the last homestand as Reynolds on the ground to short. Davis goes to third and is out, and a base running mistake. Davis cut down at third base. Boy, these are the kind of mistakes you just can't afford to make. Running right into an easy out for Yunel Escobar.
Man, we saw Kiermaier do that early in the game, got away with it, but this time Davis doesn't get such a good jump. And an easy out at third base. You just can't do those things. That's fundamentals. You just can't make base running mistakes like that and expect to score runs.
So, 2 gone. Just look at that reaction by Ron Renicky as if to say, what am I supposed to do here? How many times do we talk about this? Let's hope Maldonado can find a gap or hit one down the line.
That's just trying to make something out of nothing is what that is. I mean, everybody knows that the Brewers have had a difficult time scoring. Davis is trying to, get a good jump, get it to third base with 2 outs, and just ends up getting gunned down at third. You just can't make those mistakes. You just got to play it safe. Anything hit in front of you at second, you stay.
And time was called before the pitch. Reynolds was on the move.
Did you see Price? He backhanded the ball and flipped it over toward second base.
The thing about getting thrown out at third base for the second out on a ground ball like that, instead of taking one hit to get a run in, unless you go deep, you're going to need multiple hits or multiple action at the plate, and that's just not an easy thing to accomplish against David Price.
Or an extra base hit.
0-2 on Maldonado.
Renicky does not mind aggressive base running, doesn't even mind making mistakes, but you can't make mistakes like that. That's just not smart baseball to be trying to get to third base on a ground ball hit in front of you. Kiermaier did it for the Rays and got away with it.
So the count is 0-2 on Maldonado. Be doing some scoreboard watching today. Nice catch up there. Brought his glove.
Got his first baseman's mitt.
Old school first baseman's mitt.
And you know what's best about that? He's acting like he's done it before.
Right. There's no showboating. No look at me.
Yeah.
Just put it in his pocket.
It's like the Barry Sanders, you know, you score a touchdown, you give it to the referee. Yeah, I've done this before, no big deal.
It's not very entertaining, though, Rock. Maldonado spoils another one. Now the Brewers leading the Pittsburgh Pirates in the division to start play today by 1 game. Pirates have won 7 of their last 10. They'll be in San Francisco. That's a day game today in San Francisco. Charlie Morton for the Pirates against Tim Lincecum for the Giants. Cardinals will play later tonight in San Diego. Cincinnati's in progress as well. They had an afternoon start. They are trailing the Diamondbacks 2-0. Alfredo Simon is down in that game. A run through the Central. The Brewers, the Pirates, the Cardinals, equal amount of losses to start play today. Brewers have played a couple of more games than Pittsburgh. That's why the 1-game lead. 1-2. Maldonado hanging tough. Reynolds still at first. And Maldonado sends one into the gap left center. That's going to get down and go to the wall. And Reynolds will come all the way around to score. Martin Maldonado having a day. Gives the Brewers a 4-0 lead. And the Brewers getting big production out of the backup catcher this afternoon.
You sound surprised about the backup catcher doing well.
Not at all.
Fastball right down the middle. We talked about it was probably going to take an extra base hit to score Reynolds, and that's what you get right out into the deepest part of this ballpark. Right into the corner out there in left center. Mark Reynolds able to score run number 4 for the Brewers, and there is another big hit for Maldonado. Man, what a day he's had so far.
Boy, what's it take to get a guy in the lineup, right? It makes you wonder. Ron Renicky, because Lucroy can play first base now, he might give Maldonado a chance to keep it going in St. Louis. We'll see.
Hey, you got to play the hot hand, right?
Amen.
I mean, you get a guy swinging the bat when you don't have many guys doing it. The bat plays, and Martin Maldonado, that guy for the Brewers today. 3 RBIs and 2 hits.
Looks like he's tugging at his right quad a little bit. Trying to stretch it out at second base. 4-0 Brewers. 7 hits, 2 of them by Maldonado. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs. Segura back up the middle. Escobar ranges over, fires to first in time, and the side is retired. It is Martin Maldonado Day in St. Pete. 4-0 Brew Crew. Ice and the Rays as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Yovani Gallardo still working on a gem here. As promised earlier in the broadcast, the AT fan photo. This one comes from Riley. Make sure you use that hashtag #WisFanPhoto. I'm guessing that's Riley. Or Riley's dog, anyway. Anytime you get a dog and some Brewer swag or a Brewer sign, it's a good bet to get on the fan photo of the game. It's brought to you by AT&T. Got one flap down,
got
like Jeffrey Hammond's.
Shag carpeting going there in the living room. Nice. Jeffrey Leonard.
Jeffrey Leonard, I mean. What did I say, Hammond's?
Yeah.
Ah, shoot. I messed that up again. So Gallardo facing Kevin Kiermaier to start it. The lone walk issued by Gallardo was to Kiermaier, and that was the last base runner the Rays have had in this game. Gallardo has retired 8 in a row. Bouncing ball to Weeks. Ground balls keep coming, and Kiermaier is out. 9 in a row for Yovani Gallardo, and 15 of his last 16 retired.
And Yovani really not considered to be a ground ball pitcher. This is a bit of an unusual start for him. Only 3 strikeouts today, but ground ball outs, only 2 fly ball outs. You know, Matt Joyce and Longoria both flying to center field.
That lone single against Gallardo. Second batter he faced, Ben Zobrist. That's been it. Jennings reached in the first inning on an error. First error of the series for the Brewers. Each club with an error today. Both shortstops have committed errors. The Brewers error in the first didn't lead to a run. Gallardo got through it, got a double play ball from Longoria. Escobar's error in the third did lead to a run. Kirby Yates in the Rays bullpen might have seen the end of David Price. Right around 100 pitches, down 4-0.
It's been a while since Price has given up 4 runs in a game.
Well, if you're talking earned runs, you got to go back to May 24th. Last time he's given up this many earned runs in a game. He did have a game he gave up 5 runs, but only 1 was earned. That was against the Marlins back on the 4th of June.
And he's only given up 3 earned runs today. One of the runs he allowed is unearned.
Jennings 0 for 2. Couple of batted balls on the ground. And this one's on the ground. Nice easy hop for Weeks. Double clutches, but gets Jennings. 2 outs.
Hey, fans, get your tickets today for the Brewers series with the Giants. That's Tuesday, August 5th through Thursday, the 7th, as the Brewers look to continue their postseason push against the playoff contenders from the Bay Area. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com. Speaking of good pitching, it's coming to Miller Park.
Now the Giants and the Dodgers, 2 of the better pitching staffs in baseball. The Giants are a little banged up right now. Matt Cain is out. Matter of fact, they're concerned that he might have damage in his elbow. Paid a visit to Dr. James Andrews, which is never a good sign. Giants have Lincecum on the mound today against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, not that he's he's a good guy, but you don't want to go see the doctor.
Yeah, no offense.
He's a great guy, fun to talk to, but you don't want to have him examine you. It's never really good news.
And a lot of times, after an Andrews examination, it ends up as a James Andrews surgery. Giants have done all they can with Matt Cain, trying to get him back, trying to rest, strengthen that elbow, but he says he's been pitching in pain for a while now, last couple of seasons even. which explains some of the tail off on the numbers. Zobrist takes a strike, 3-1. Gallardo struck him out in the third inning, got him looking after he singled in the first. He's 1 for 2. Zobrist is having a nice series. 2 hits yesterday, including the home run that tied it. And the RBI that put him ahead.
That's a nice pitch right there, 3-1. Two-seam fastball, catching the inside corner.
Full count. Gallardo delivers, and a strike called. Same spot. Strikes him out again on the outside corner. Yovani Gallardo, punch out number 4. Looks like Yates may be coming in. We'll see. Brewers up 4-0. Nothing on the Rays as we head to the top of the 7th inning. And the Powerball home run count. The Brewers have hit 109 home runs this year, second to the Colorado Rockies. But the home run ball has not been their biggest weapon. They've struggled offensively. When the Brewers are hitting home runs, they typically win. That was not the case on Monday night. This is a team built for the home run ball. And when they're clicking on all cylinders offensively, you usually see a lot of home runs. So Price is back out there. We saw Yates in the bullpen. He was throwing the entire half inning. Price with a pitch count of 101, but he hustled his way back on the mound, and he will continue on in this 7th inning. Top of the order, Gomez swings, skies one to center. And 1 pitch and 1 out for David Price. Here's Jonathan Lucroy now. Trade deadline tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. Brewers and the Rays will have the day off for the trade deadline. Traveling party is off. Baseball operations will be in full throttle all across baseball. Doug Melvin and his entire staff here in St. Petersburg. They're going to remain here through the trade deadline. I know a number of the front office personnel will be heading over to Brevard County to check in on the Brewers single A club, about a 3-hour drive from here. There's been some reports from a couple of writers around baseball, Peter Gammons and Bob Nightingale, that Justin Masterson has been acquired by the Cardinals and will pitch against Milwaukee. Masterson, the hard-throwing right-hander for the Indians. Talking about him maybe starting Saturday against the Brewers at Busch Stadium. That was reported by Bob Nightingale.
If that's the case, he'll be facing Jimmy Nelson.
Masterson's been on the disabled list. I believe he's had a knee problem, but eligible to come back. So the Brewers could be facing Justin Masterson if those reports are accurate.
Yep, so it'd be Wainwright, Masterson, and Lance Lynn against the Brewers over the weekend.
Price, Wainwright, Masterson is no picnic in consecutive games. Not to mention the Odorizzi's and the Alex Cobbs of the world, as Price delivers high and away to Lucroy. Count goes full.
And then the Giants come into Miller Park.
Odorizzi will be next up on Sunday against the Angels. Full count. Lucroy batting with 1 out. Bouncer to short, backhanded by Escobar, and a long throw is a good one. 2 up and 2 down for Price. That'll bring up Ryan Braun. And the activity doesn't stop after tomorrow as far as the trading goes. Sometimes that waiver wire transaction period, trade period, which ends at the end of August, can be just as furious. And I think maybe even more so in this current playoff era we have with 2 wild card teams. There are a lot more teams that are on the fringe right now, still in it. For example, a couple of years ago, Tampa Bay sitting in the position they're in now, they're probably going to make trades because they're not going to be able to catch the Angels or the 4th postseason team. Now 5 teams make it to the postseason, that 1-game wild card playoff. I think it's great.
Yep.
I think it does 2 things for the game. A, it protects division winners, and you go a full 162-game season and you win your division, you should get a series or a bye into the postseason. It also keeps a lot more teams in it, which means it keeps players with their own teams.
Right, less movement, and we've seen that.
And I think that's a good thing as well. But there can be a lot of activity.
It's just a little bit more difficult after the trading deadline. You know, players have to clear waivers, which means any team can, you know, take them off of waivers, pick them, which means that you either pull them off, and that eliminates the trade. So it just becomes a little bit more technical, a little bit more difficult to make trades after July 31st.
A lot of times in August you'll see guys move who have big contracts as teams try to dump some salary. I think the Phillies are going to be active in that August waiver wire transaction period. We'll see. I mean, they've got a ton of huge contracts. You could see the Phillies trying to restart like the Boston Red Sox did a couple of seasons ago when they made that trade with the Dodgers. 1-2 to Braun. On the ground to second base. Logan Forsythe takes care of Braun, and David Price comes back out for the 7th and goes 1-2-3. 4-0 Crew. 8th inning coming. For the bottom of Giovanni Gallardo trying to steal the headlines from Martin Maldonado. Well, before every grand slam, every goal, every game, you can check America's pregame weekdays 5 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and on Fox Sports Go, America's new sports network. The place to turn for America's pregame. Gallardo back to work. Giovanni coming off another 3-up, 3-down inning. Picked up his 4th strikeout. He's retired 11 in a row. Joyce, Longoria, and Loney to start it for the Rays. Joyce is 0 for 2. On a fly out and a ground out. Ton of ground ball outs today for Gallardo. Martin Maldonado has been the star offensively with 3 runs batted in off David Price. And Gallardo has been on top of his game again when the Brewers needed him most. After 7 2/3 scoreless against the Mets, Gallardo pitching into the 7th inning without a run and only the 1 hit against the Rays.
And just impeccable location on both corners, inside, outside. He's been dotting the I on Ben Zobrist today. And maybe their hottest hitter. A couple of strikeouts.
Lyle Overbay in the game at first. Lucroy is out. And a swing and a miss. Joyce strikes out. So Gallardo picks up his 5th K. And 4 of the 5 Ks have come in the last 3 innings.
And 2 of the 5 strikeouts are swinging strikes. The other 2 called. I'll tell you, that was a pitch right down the middle of the plate. A 2-seam fastball at 91 miles an hour. And I think because of all the all-speed pitches that Gallardo has been able to throw for strikes today, has got these Tampa Bay hitters a little bit off balance.
Evan Longoria now with 1 away. Maybe the biggest moment for Gallardo came in the very first inning of this game, getting Longoria to bounce into a 6-4-3 double play. That was with 2 on and 1 out.
Talk about a momentum shift, right? Brewers came back in the second to score a couple of runs. Could have been much different.
To a 0 on Longoria, and he swings and fouls 1 off. Yeah, these are green light go pitches for the Rays, and they're coming up empty.
Low 90s fastballs, but well located. And Joyce, last hitter swung through one right down the middle of the plate. That last one, a pretty good pitch to Longoria.
That one's in the air, a mile high, misses the A-ring, and Segura will make the catch. That was close.
Yes, it was.
That's the ring that is in fair territory. That means you got to play it. And wherever it lands, that's the result. So everybody's kind of on their toes. Every infielder on a pop-up like that has to be ready to make a play.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's very difficult here during the day with the sunshine, getting through this canvas roof. Night games not real easy, but day games can be impossible at times. Hey, be at Miller Park on Wednesday, August 6th as the Brewers take on the Giants to get your very own Hank the Ballpark Pup beach towel. That's courtesy of Meyer. Visit Brewers.com to reserve your spot today.
How about Hank hanging out on the beach?
Pretty good seat, wasn't it?
That's a good gig.
I'll leave it at that.
Here's James Loney, and he lines one to left field, a base hit. So the Rays with their first hit since the first inning. James Loney, a 2-out single. And a base runner for the Rays. That's their first base runner since Kiermaier walked in the 3rd. That'll bring up Logan Forsythe. A strikeout victim in the 5th. Gallardo has 4 Ks his last 7 outs. 4 of those are strikeouts, and Forsythe misses badly on a slider. Goes foul. 0-2 the count. Forsythe had a pinch hit appearance yesterday and drove one into the gap. Will Smith had a double and an RBI.
Yeah, high fastball middle in. That's why Gallardo has been working him away today.
Part of a 4-run Tampa Bay 8th. It was a 1-1 game going into that bottom of the 8th, and then 4 came across. Rays won 5-1. Brewers have answered today, though. 4 runs on 7 hits. Bouncing ball up the middle, base hit. Forsythe is aboard.
And no activity in that Brewers bullpen. Giovanni's still pitching a shutout at this point. But an 0-2 fastball that got a little bit too much of the plate ends up into center field. So with 2 outs and nobody on, back-to-back singles. And the Rays had the tying run on deck.
A 2-out, 2-strike single by Forsythe. And Gallardo will face Yunel Escobar, a strikeout victim in the 5th inning. After getting called out on strikes, you got to think Escobar's in swing mode here. He's not a guy that strikes out a lot, nor does he walk a lot. He's typically a free swinger anyway. And Gallardo opens with a slider for strike 1 to get ahead of him.
Yeah, not going to swing at that, is he?
Zach Duke is in the Brewers bullpen. Gallardo probably has 1 more hitter, maybe 2 more. We'll see. If he gets through this inning, you could see him coming back out for the 8th. Swing and a miss. Same pitch. Got him to chase it that time, and it goes to 0-2. Biggest threat for the Rays today since the 1st inning. 0-2 pitch and a bouncing ball, third base. Reynolds is there, will step on the bag, and Giovanni Gallardo 7 shutout innings. Working on a 3-hitter. Brewers lead 4-0. We go to the 8th. On the Rays, we head to the top of the 8th. Milwaukee coming up. Miller Lite, what's on tap after a day off tomorrow for the Brew Crew. They'll start up a series in St. Louis. Willie Peralta and Adam Wainwright, two of the top winners in the National League. Wainwright putting together a Cy Young type year. And Jimmy Nelson most likely will start against Justin Masterson. That's the reports we're getting at this point. Still officially unannounced by the Cardinals. And then you got Loesch, the former Cardinal, against Lance Lynn Sunday. 2 night games and a day game. 3-game series in St. Louis. Brewers trying to salvage this final game in Tampa Bay. Price is out. Kirby Yates is in as we move to the 8th.
Another guy with more strikeouts than innings pitched for Yates. 18 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 16 2/3 innings, making appearance number 16 this year. Very good earned run average at 2.16. Last pitch 3 days ago against the Red Sox. Retired the only batter that he faced. It's a very good bullpen here in Tampa.
Ramirez will start it. He's had a good day today. 2 for 3 with an RBI. And a run scored. Drove in a run in the 3rd. Maldonado has done the heavy lifting today. 3 runs batted in on 2 hits, a single and a double. The Brewers are actually going to take the off day tomorrow here in Florida. Typically teams would travel to the next city. But Renicky and the Brewers feeling as if they've seen enough of St. Louis this year, and they'll take the off day here to a city the Brewers don't travel to very often in interleague baseball. So ball club decided to stay here tonight, and they will travel tomorrow night to St. Louis, starting the series Friday.
More of an off day, location. St. Petersburg, right on the beaches of Tampa Bay. Looking forward to that.
Off days are gold in the middle of a baseball season, right? There aren't very many of them. Ramirez on the ground, gobbled up by Longoria. Ramirez is out, 2 for 4 today. First out of the 8th.
Yeah, Brewers did the same thing when they were in Toronto. Had a day off after the Toronto series and stayed in Toronto for the off day. Stayed in Toronto rather than going to Cincinnati for the off day.
Well, the Brewers are going to have 2 off days coming up here. They've got one tomorrow and then Monday. So that'll give them a breather. You'll notice if you look at the standings, the Brewers have played 2 more games than the Pirates, 3 more games than the Cardinals at this point of the schedule. So they'll be able to make up a couple of those. Brewers trying to snap their 3-game skid with a win today. 4-0 they lead it in the 8th as Weeks takes a strike.
The Brewers have only had 1 rainout this year. That was the opener in Philly. But then they played that game. It was supposed to be the opener the following day. The Brewers have been fortunate, this year, not having to deal with much weather.
I'd forgotten about that rain out in Philly. They called that game the day before.
Right. Yep.
That was the Phillies home opener. So yeah, there are a lot of teams that have to work in these makeup dates. The Braves and the Padres just did
double headers
on Monday, and Brewers very fortunate, limiting their chances, half their games inside beautiful Miller Park. Did he go? Yes, he did. Weeks strikes out, unable to check his swing. And he's not pleased about that call. 2 up and 2 down.
Yates with a pretty good slider. He's been establishing that pitch. He got Ramirez on a slider and got Ricky on a check swing.
Davis in the air, right center field. That ball's well hit. Long run, and it is one hopped off the wall and into the Rays tank. Chris Davis, a booming double. His second double in as many at-bats.
Yeah, Chris is saying that's a home run in most ballparks, but not in this ballpark. I wouldn't go in there and get it, by the way.
Did you know baseballs float?
They did, yeah. For a while, anyway. There's that slider that stayed middle in, and Davis doing what he does best. He pulls the hands in and hits a rocket out there in the right center and into the Rays tank. They had a bunch of those Stingrays out there.
A fan attraction here. Davis 2 for 4, 2 doubles. He's at second with 2 outs for Mark Reynolds.
Did you get a chance to go out there and check him out?
I didn't. You know, I meant to do that today, but next time. I'll be back here Sunday, actually. I go check it out again Sunday. Easy, careful now. She's a little gun shy.
Starting to sink. Notice?
They're very friendly. You know, you can pet them out there.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Yep. As that core gets waterlogged, she'll start to move to the bottom. Is that the science behind it?
I guess. If
Dr.
the whole
Rock.
thing gets waterlogged, not just the core. The core is solid. It's all that string that's tightly wound around that core. And the 108 stitches.
There it goes. To the bottom it goes. That's a good experiment right there. How long does it take for a baseball to sink? As Reynolds takes a strike.
One batter.
Yeah, one batter. Brewers would love to add one more. Tack on runs have been big. They got one in the 6th to make it 4-0 on the Maldonado RBI double. That came with 2 outs. Scored Reynolds all the way from first. 3-2. 2 minutes to sink. The Rays on it. I got it.
Out there trying to hatch it, maybe, huh?
How am I supposed to pick it up? If Rays could talk, that's probably what they'd sound like, right? Reynolds draws the walk. Man, he's had a good day at the plate, huh? 2 walks, a double. Reached on a fielder's choice. He scored a run. And now it's first and second with 2 away. And Jim Hickey making his first appearance on the mound here at the Trop. That's how good his pitching staff has been in this series. Yep. Haven't seen him.
Yeah, bottom of the order has been pretty good, hasn't it? Yeah, get down to Davis. He's got a couple of doubles. Maldonado, his day speaks for itself. A couple of hits, 3 RBIs. That's what the Brewers have been looking for. Somebody, anybody in that batting order to come up with some big hits. And they've gotten them today. Got some anyway.
Well, this is the guy you want at the plate. Martin Maldonado has been hot. Gets himself into the lineup. 2 hits, 3 runs batted in.
That throws nothing but sliders. 84 miles an hour.
Maldonado takes ball one. Davis at second. A two-out double. Reynolds walked, and then out Maldonado into right center. And that's down. A base hit. Here comes Davis. Martin Maldonado with another run batted in on his third hit. And it's 5-0 Brewers.
How about Ron Renneke? We're talking about Maldonado. How about Renneke putting him in there, knowing that the Brewers need some runs? You stick him in the lineup, and he comes up big for you. 3 hits, 4 RBIs. Maldonado had collected 3 RBIs 6 times in his career. Not sure he's had a 4 RBI game. Then dumps that one into right center and plates another big run for the Brewers. Wow, what a day.
Ties his career high with 4 runs batted in. Did it in 2012. Maldonado that year was catching a lot when Jonathan Lucroy was injured. Well, that is some kind of performance today out of Martin Maldonado. It's one thing to have this kind of day against the Rays, 2 of the 3 hits coming against David Price. But to be a guy who doesn't play very often, his at-bats are limited. Got to be one of the toughest things to do. You were a backup catcher, and it's
very tough.
Almost impossible to come out and think you could have this kind of day against a pitcher like Price when you haven't been playing at all.
Guys like Maldonado, Logan Schaefer don't get many at bats, and they have to stay sharp. Got to figure out a way to, be productive and get the job done. And talking about Maldonado, he's calling a shutout as well.
Yeah, that's the other part of it.
So he's been doing a good job. Last 2 times catching Gallardo.
5-0 Brewers on 9 hits. Coming out of it in a big way today. Brewers in the last 3 games leading up to today had a combined 9 hits and just 2 runs. Jeremy Jeffress looks like he'll have the Rays 8th. Gallardo looks to be done. Jeffress has been throwing the entire half inning. 2 on, 2 outs, and the 2-2 pitch to Segura is down and away. The last 2 runs the Brewers have scored on the Maldonado hits have been with 2 outs. And Segura strikes out to end the inning. But a tack-on run. The Brewers getting a big day from backup catcher Martin Maldonado. Another base hit, his 3rd of the day. His 4th run batted in. And the Brewers are up 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And it'll be Jeremy Jeffress on the mound for the Brewers. Maldonado, a career day today, matching his best RBI output ever. Second time he's driven in 4 in a game. 3 for 4, a double, 2 singles. 2 of those 3 hits coming against David Price. And now it's Jeffress trying to get the Brewers to the 9th and protect the shutout. Gallardo was fantastic again today.
Amazing. The way he was able to get through this batting order. Everything working for him, and now you get a guy that has a much different approach. I mean, this guy, Jeremy Jeffress, gets it up there in the mid to upper 90s with the fastball and has been very good. Ron Renick's showing a lot of confidence in Jeffress to bring him in this situation. Brewers have been looking to get a hard-throwing right-hander out of that bullpen all season, and they're hoping that Jeffress is the guy.
Second appearance of the series for Jeremy Jeffress. Now the comeback is quite a story on its own. But Jeffress, now that he's been here for a week, is ready to move on past that and start to get into the discussion of helping this bullpen and being a big part of this bullpen in a pennant race.
They tossed a scoreless 7th inning on Monday here against the Rays.
Jeffress was traded from the Brewers to the Royals, part of the Zach Greinke deal. He and Odorizzi were in that same trade, along with Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Cain. Blue Jays ended up trading him to, or rather the Royals traded him to Toronto, as Molina lines one to right field, a base hit. It's just the 4th hit of the day for Tampa Bay. Molina 1 for 3 and a leadoff single in the 8th. Now our shining moment brought to you by the Marshfield Clinic. Giovanni Gallardo not willing to give up the spotlight to Martin Maldonado. 3 hits, 7 shutout innings, and 5 Ks for Gallardo.
Yeah, 1 walk and a lot of ground ball outs, and that's the big play of the game. That was in the 1st inning, getting Giovanni out of a jam. A 1st and 3rd 1 out. And you see what he did today. So Giovanni back-to-back starts without allowing runs. That's 14 2/3 innings.
Got a chance to turn it here. Weeks shovels it to Segura, and the throw to first in time for the out. Kiermaier bounces into a 4-6-3 double play.
And Ricky shoving it out of his glove, almost lost the out, let alone the double play. Good adjustment by Segura. This ball hit right on the nose. Watch Ricky shovels it with his glove and almost throws it right over the head of Segura, who had to make an adjustment to get the out. That dangerous play right there. But Segura very athletic, and that big throwing arm able to make the play.
The great equalizer, right? That cannon by Segura. So 2 outs, top of the order. Desmond Jennings, who is 0 for 3 today.
You get concerned about the offense for Gene Segura this year, but Ron Renick can't afford to sit him down and give him days off. He's so valuable defensively. How many runs does he save you defensively?
Coming across is Reynolds, throws on the run. Jennings is out, and Jeremy Jeffress with a scoreless 8th inning. To the 9th we go. The Brewers shutting out the Rays 5-0. The Brewers lead 5-0. And Milwaukee coming to bat. Joel Peralta, who was just activated prior to Monday's game, is in to pitch.
He hasn't pitched in a while, as you mentioned. He's been on the disabled list. July 12th, the last time he pitched against the Blue Jays. Tossed a scoreless inning. And you see his numbers, another reliever trotting out of that bullpen with more strikeouts than innings pitched. He has allowed 7 home runs and a .415 earned run average in 43 appearances.
He went back to his home country in the Dominican during the All-Star break and was bitten by a mosquito and contracted a virus that put him on the disabled list. So he's just getting back. He's a big part of the Rays bullpen. Typically their 7th inning guy when they're tied or they have the lead. And this is just an opportunity to get some work for him. Joel Peralta facing Carlos Gomez, who is 0 for 4 today. Brewers have their hits, but it hasn't been from the guys you'd think. Gomez is hitless. Ryan Braun is hitless. 5 runs on 9 hits. Maldonado has 3 of them and driving in 4 runs.
And it's been the bottom of the order doing most of the damage, and that's what the Brewers have been looking for a while now. On that stretch where the Brewers are winning games almost on a daily basis. Everybody in the batting order contributing, particularly the bottom of the order. Good to see that today, and hope it continues.
Davis, Reynolds, and Maldonado hitting 6th, 7th, and 8th with 6 hits today. As Gomez swings and fouls one into the mitt of Molina. Strikeout on the foul tip. Gomez looking forward to getting out of St. Petersburg. Here's Lyle Overbay. Came in defensively last inning. This will be his first at bat. Lucroy started the game at first base. And not an injury situation. Overbay in for defensive purposes. At the time, the Brewers led 4-0. Now it's 5-0. Brewers in-game box score. A lot of activity down at the bottom of that order, specifically with 6, 7, and 8. A couple of doubles from Davis. Reynolds has a double. He's walked twice. Maldonado with the 3 hits and the 4 RBIs.
And those 2 add-on runs late in the game by Maldonado, huge.
And on the other side, Giovanni Gallardo with 7 scoreless innings today. 16 2/3 scoreless innings consecutive for Gallardo. That'll carry over into his next start.
Yeah, 2 starts ago, Giovanni did not allow a run in his final 2 innings. And then 7 2/3 scoreless and 7 scoreless innings today. What's that up to? 16 2/3?
Yeah, and he'll take that into his next start, which will be against the Giants at home at Miller Park. Renicky said for now he's going to stick with the rotation despite 2 days off. You got a day off tomorrow and then Monday, but they're going to stick with the 5-man rotation, giving some extra days off.
It's worked out nicely. Giovanni doesn't have to deal with the Cardinals. He has not had a lot of success against St. Louis. So he'll miss the Cardinals.
Quick release by Peralta. That's a fair ball. Loney spins and fires, and Overbay is out. Two outs in the inning. Slick fielding first baseman James Loney. And here's Ryan Braun. Braun briefly had a hit today. Then a batted ball that was scored a hit in the third, changed to an error almost immediately. He lined out in the fifth. Rays have pitching to die for. Just about every spot. All of their rotation spots. Their bullpen is great. Their late inning relief matches up as well as anyone. Especially now that Peralta is back.
Defense is good, but they got to find a way to score runs.
Yeah, they got to have some offense. They are hopeful to get a couple of key bats back. Ryan Hannigan and Will Myers.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Score runs, you win. Kind of pitching.
Braun in the air, left center field. That is Jennings to make the call, and the catch, and the inning is over. And we're headed for the bottom of the ninth. See if the Brewers can finish off a shutout today. To the bottom of the ninth, Tampa Bay coming up, and Jeremy Jeffress back on the mound trying to close the door here. Jeffress has been pitching in multiple innings quite often down in AAA. Renicky would love to see him get through this ninth inning. Jeffress had a scoreless eighth, did give up a single but got a double play ball. 5-0 Brewers. Been a good day at the ballpark. The Brewers needed a day like this. 3 outs away from sealing up a victory, keeping themselves in first place once again. The Brewers are looking for their 60th win today. They would become the second National League team to win 60. The Dodgers picked up win number 60 last night.
And Ron Renicky taking no chances with a 5-0 lead. He's got Zach Duke down in that bullpen. You might see him come in after Zobrist at bat and see how he plays it. With the day off tomorrow, why not, right?
And Duke is standing down there, but is not really throwing at this point. We'll wait and see on Jeffress.
Yeah, well, he's been throwing.
He was up last inning after the base hit.
He's ready.
Not a guy that takes long to get loose anyway. Jeffress trying to make it easy on his manager.
Jeffress some pretty good movement on that last fastball. You know, two-seamer. I'm not sure if it was a two-seamer or what, or it's the release point. He has changed his release point over the years. We're on 3/4 to get a little bit of movement. 96 miles an hour.
Jeffress was sent back to the minor leagues with the Blue Jays. Had a chance to remain with Toronto and just go to AAA. Fly ball to left. Davis on the run, and Davis slides and makes the catch. Chris Davis. An impressive play down the left field line.
That was sweet. He got a good jump and knew he had a lot of room down in that fair territory. How about the velocity of Jeremy Jeffress? That movement got him off the end of the bat, but look at the sliding catch by Davis in foul territory to get out number one. What beauty.
Yeah, great catch. So one gone. Here's Matt Joyce. Now Jeffress had a chance to remain with the Blue Jays and maybe work his way back up with Toronto, and making a significant amount of money to go to AAA, but remaining with the Blue Jays. Instead, he opted for free agency and made a phone call to the Brewers and felt like he could help the Brewers, and in his words, felt like he had some unfinished business, had some payback that he owed to the Brewers, as Joyce wraps one back up the middle at a base hit. And by all accounts, we first got to know Jeremy Jeffress in 2010, but by all accounts, he's a very conscientious guy, and he wanted to return to Milwaukee. He felt like he had his life together. Had a couple of suspensions he dealt with, drug suspensions in the minor leagues with the Brewers, and felt like he owed Milwaukee something, and here he is, and he pitched well in AAA, changed his arm slot as Rock mentioned, and emerged as the closer down in AAA in Nashville, and here he is in the big leagues. It's been quite a story.
Still trying to get more consistent with a breaking pitch.
That skips by Maldonado, and Joyce will go to second base on a wild pitch.
And if he's able to harness a breaking pitch that he can throw for strikes, he's gonna be a good one. Right now, it's basically hitters go up there looking fastball because the breaking pitch very inconsistent for him.
Longoria at the plate with a runner at second now. And Maldonado on his way out. K-Rod joins Zach Duke in the Brewers bullpen. In case it evolves into a save situation, you'd see K-Rod. Otherwise, it'll be Duke. And you figured Jeffress might have one more hitter. Got a lefty coming up next in Loney.
You might see Duke for him. You don't want to get this crowd going. You don't want to have the Rays get something going here in the ninth.
And that's going to sneak through a base hit. Joyce is going to hold around third. With the Rays down 5, they won't take any chances.
And now you'll probably see Zach Duke. He tried to get through this game with Jeffress picking up the last 2 innings, but it's not going to work out.
Renicky on his way out. He'll make the change. Jeffress goes an inning and a third, gives up 3 hits. It'll be Zach Duke next. We'll take a break. Outs to get. Rays with 2 on and 1 out, and it's Zach Duke trying to finish this one off.
Yeah, last pitched on Monday right here in Tampa Bay and tossed a scoreless inning. Walked a batter, struck out a batter. You got James Loney to deal with, and then some right-handed batters. 50th appearance for Duke and a 1.05 earned run average. You can see the strikeouts, 58 punch-outs in 43 innings of work. And Duke has been very good with inherited base runners. He's stranded all but 6 of 26 base runners that he's inherited when he's come into a ball game.
James Loney will bat first and third. 1 gone, Loney, and then Forsythe to follow. Not a safe situation at this point. Tying run has to be on deck. But if it gets to that point, you'll see K-Rock.
Yeah, 1 more base runner.
Brewers set up to try to turn a double play here. They'll concede the run to take that chance. And a swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch from Duke. Duke's been lights out. National League leaders among relievers. Duke is 3rd. He is 5th in all of baseball in relief ERA with that 105 earned run average. Duke's been tough on left-handers this year as well. This is outside. Ball and a strike on Loney.
Sliders away, fastball's in. Got to be careful with Loney on a fastball in. That was a pitch that he was able to dump into center field on Monday night.
Loney had to hit his last time up to the opposite field. Had a swing and a miss. Boy, had him stepping in the bucket. Sidearm breaking ball from Zach Duke. It's 1-2. Those are the splits. And why Renicky brings Duke on to face lefties. He started the year as a situational left-hander. He's emerged into more than that. The 1-2. Loney stays alive.
And left that one up in his zone a little bit, and Loney able to get a piece of it. That arm angle against left-handers makes it tough on him, especially when he keeps that pitch away on the outside corner.
One gone, 9th inning, and a called strike 3. Loney is rung up.
Wasn't expecting a fastball, was he?
Sidearm fastball hit the edge, and out number 2 is a K.
Fastball right on the outside corner at the knees. And Loney looking slider. Zach gave him a fastball.
Rays down to their last out. Here's Logan Forsythe. Had a 2-out, 2-strike single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. 3 hits in the series. Making his 2nd start of the series today. Duke misses down and in. Duke trying to make a winner out of Giovanni Gallardo. Starting pitching for the Brewers is on some kind of roll. A 1.72 ERA by the starters over the last 10 games. Longoria takes off, and the pitch is outside.
This will be Duke's last hitter. If Forsythe gets on, it's a save situation.
No stolen base for Longoria. Defensive indifference is how you account for him at second. So 2nd and 3rd. 2-0 on Logan Forsythe. There's a strike. Gallardo's 7th shutout. Jeffers worked a scoreless 8th. Has 2 runners his responsibility as he started the 9th. Jeffers goes an inning and a 3rd. And that one just missed. 3 balls and a strike.
Never easy. This guy gets on, you're going to see K-Rod.
And he lost him. And now the bases are loaded. And Renicky is on his way. So Zach Duke does get a strikeout on Loney, but walks Forsythe. Now it's a save situation in a 5-0 game. And Frankie Rodriguez is on to try to nail it down. Not over yet. Russell for that 27th out. It has been tough. The Rays have the bases loaded. Their biggest threat of the game. Columbia St. Mary save tracker number 30 for Francisco Rodriguez. First time he saved 30 since the 09 season. And he's back out there in a save opportunity. It's the rarest of save opportunities in a 5-0 lead, but the tying run comes on deck, and K-Rod will try to finish this thing off.
Yeah, picked up number 30 on Saturday against the Mets. Tossed a scoreless 9th inning, couple of strikeouts. Dealing with the bottom of the Rays order.
Escobar got to be careful on this first pitch. The Rays shortstop is 0 for 3, and Rodriguez starts him with a breaking ball, a curveball. We got Jose Molina on deck. That's the guy you don't want to have to face, because if he bats, then the Rays will bring the tying run to the plate. 5-0 Brewers. Still a shot at a shutout if K-Rod can end it right here. Big swing by Escobar.
He knew he was going to get a fastball, but overswung on it and beat it into the ground.
First appearance for K-Rod in this series. Gallardo to Jeffress to Duke, and now Rodriguez. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. Swing and a miss. Change up from K-Rod. 1-2 the count, and the Rays down to their last strike.
Well, even with the count 1-1, K-Rod going with his best pitch, and Escobar way out in front. He'll throw the same one down in the dirt.
Yeah, not exactly where he wanted that one, huh?
No, that was up.
K-Rod deals a 1-2 and a swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. The Brewers win. They salvage this final game of the series as Giovanni Gallardo beats David Price 7th shutout of the season, and the first since the Brewers shut out the Reds on July 5th. That's a big win for the Brew Crew. To 60 wins they go. Milwaukee now 60-49. Big day from Martin Maldonado. We'll talk his game on Brewers Live. Let's check in with Marty Gellner. She's in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio. Marty.